Hi everyone, Scott Minto here. Hope all is well and you're keeping safe right now. Delighted to say I'm joined by the Plymouth Argyle manager, Ryan Lowe, for the EFL and Minds Inside of the Mind series for Mental Health Awareness Week. Ryan, how are you? How you been finding lockdown?
Yeah, been good. It's been nice, Scott. Obviously being home with the family. I was down Plymouth for 7 months, more or less on my own. So it's been interesting, as we said before. It's hard with the kids and getting them out of bed and some work to be done and gardens, everything that comes with being a man and a dad, basically, mate. But no, it's been good. It's been a nice time. Chomping at the bit to get back. I'll be honest with you, miss some football, but again, look, valuable family time is always good.
We were talking just before we started this. Fair to say it's almost like a hurricane walking into your house with the kids.
Yeah. Do you know what, mate? It was, yeah. Obviously, my missus said, you're a bit quiet for the first. I was like, well, I've been away. I weren't used to mum, dad, this, banging around the house. Can I have this? Can I have that? Can you get me this? And it took me a little while to get back used to it, to be honest with you. But listen, as I say, I've loved every minute of it. It's been special times. As a manager, wherever you go in your career, yourself as a player and me, or ex-player I should say, but when you're working and you're away, you have to do these things and the kids understand that. But no, listen, again, coming back into the crash bang wallop type, if you like, it was tough, but again, it's been unbelievable. It's been great.
Hair's looking good and shorts as well. Have you done it yourself or who's done that for you?
That's the grey, I think. Not sure. I actually cut it once or twice myself and got my little girl to do it, but I've just kept the beard and I'm just looking for something to do, you see. The garden's nearly done, Scott, so I'm just trying to entertain myself in the middle with some razors and clippers and whatnot. But no, it's yours is a bit hectic, isn't it? I see.
Mine is. I haven't touched mine, to be honest with you, and the greys are all coming out. There's no dark ones growing anymore. It's all greys.
But listen, we wouldn't want it any other way, would we?
No, I mean, I was asking one of the lads the other day, actually, within this time, is there something that you haven't done for a very long time or perhaps even ever that you've done within this time? For me, it was mowing the lawn. I hadn't mown the lawn for 25 years. And as I'm doing it, I'm thinking, why have I not done this for 25 years? But it struck to borrow next door neighbour's lawnmower. Yeah. Did it myself. Took me an hour or so. And that's not because it's a big, massive garden. It's just because it took me ages to clear up all the mess that the dog had made, first of all. Yeah. But anything you've done?
Do you know what, mate? I invested in the artificial grass a few years back now. And so that's a big bonus because I've been there, done that, the lawn mowing. But what I've done, Scott, is the back of my house, me and my neighbour, there's an old railway at the back of ours. And we've sort of claimed that there's about 10 foot worth of land. So we've been over there for the past week or so, just shoveling up, getting it all to nitty gritty, getting it nice and clean. And we're going to get nice sheds in because next door's neighbour's got two boys the same age as my girl and my lad, so they're obviously friends. So we're going to try and open it up. And so yeah, I've been trying to do a little bit of DIY stuff which I've never really done, and a bit of shoveling and a bit of I've got a sore back, sore shoulders, sore legs. But again, mate, it just takes your mind off football for a little while, because the first few weeks I was forever putting Sky Sports News on, checking the websites, checking social media, and it can't affect you. And in the end, I thought, no, I need to get stuff done. And I signed up for the NHS early on to try and get it, help out there. But the numbers had gone rocketed through the roof, so there was no more applications going through. And I was just happy to get out for it. And I was walking. We were going down the local beach and through the woods and stuff. So I found it interesting that it was more time, family time. And it was stuff I wouldn't normally do. I wouldn't walk down the beach for a walk. I used to hate walking and even running now. I've been going out with my runs and pre-season, I used to have 4 weeks off and then I'd have 2 weeks in the local boxing gym. But the runs, Scott, I used to hate running for nothing, mate. If there's a ball going over the top, I'd run for it because I think I'd have a chance of scoring. So again, but it's been peaceful. It's been great. So a lot of the things what I've stopped doing over the last probably 18 months as a manager, I've started thinking, well, I need to keep that in me, in my mind. I need to keep that in my head to keep doing, So I'm sure I don't think about shoveling a load of crap over the back. I don't think I'll be carrying that on. But in terms of exercises and walking and nice walks through the woods and stuff, I think I'd continue because I've really enjoyed it.
How are you keeping in touch with the players? And have you had any players that perhaps from a mental health point of view, you've thought, I need to keep more on top of this particular player than another?
Do you know what, mate? We haven't. The players have been brilliant. I speak to them. I'm due to speak to them in the next few days, probably over the weekend now. I've spoke to them since we've been up. I think it'll be 9 weeks tomorrow. And I spoke to them, one or two of them. We'll have a bit of banter on the group chat. Someone will see me here, someone will see me beard. Listen, it's brilliant. We've got a good group. I haven't noticed in what we spoke to, like my assistant manager on the group chat with them, and I speak to them individually. We've had Zoom meetings, we had Zoom exercises a few weeks ago, and then we shut them down. We're in regular dialogue with them quite a bit, and the banter's still flying on the group chat, which is always nice.
Mm. You said the first few weeks were quite difficult for you, and obviously at the moment it's quite difficult for you in a different way. Which was more difficult, and how did you deal with things mentally to get yourself through it?
The first few weeks, as I said, I come home, my miss said, "You're awful quiet," and I was like, "I don't know. Me schedule, day-to-day schedules have gone. Me phone calls have gone. Me planning sessions, me planning the week is gone. Planning the months, looking at players, looking at opposition. It just all unfolded very quickly." And then not knowing when you're potentially going to be back, and then what you do with the lads, you shut them down, or you keep on top of the fitness because they were at a good peak in fitness. So I found that tough. That I was thinking, well, what do we do? And as you say, you only so much you can go and do stuff in the garden, or go eat. And then we couldn't really go out. You only had an hour's exercise, and you couldn't go out driving. So it was a bit. And then obviously in the end, I thought, right, I need to get a bit of a routine. So I was getting up one morning, getting my showers, having my breakfast. And then I'd sit and watch the football show on Sky Sports, which has been a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you. It was excellent. I got a chance to go on it for 15, 20 minutes also. And then I'm looking at the bigger picture then. I'm thinking, okay, well, family time. And then you're looking at the people who've lost their lives through the virus, and you think, okay, you need to stay in. So it was more of that. I wanted to make sure everything was right for the right reasons. And I was happy when the toll was coming down. And I was thinking, how lucky are we to be in our home with the family. And then I sort of crossed that bridge that, what am I worrying for? I'm not a big worrier, to be honest with you, and it was a time, as then it's coming around, okay, it's going to get cancelled, or this is happening, then you're in a position to go up on a points per game, and then you feel for the opposition teams who have been great as well also. And in the end, I thought, right, just let it be. What will be, will be. Everyone has their own agenda. Everyone's saying this should happen, that should happen. So you know what? I think over the last couple of weeks now, I've been fine. I've been right as rain. People asking me about, even, obviously, as you're going to mention in a minute, Liverpool fan. I'm like, I want what my biggest thing in all this is, I want to see that death toll come right down, and I'll be a happy man, not just for me and my family and everyone else associated, but everyone in the country, really, because it is a big situation, pandemic that we're in. I hope we'll never have to see ever again.
We'll come on to Liverpool just one second, but you mentioned you're on the football show. How much do you enjoy that?
Yeah, it's been brilliant, mate. Listen, obviously I love Carragher. He's a friend of mine, and him and Neville are brilliant. And some of the shouts that have been on there. No, there's no buts. It's been great, and I love getting up in the morning. Billy McGinty's a good friend of mine, obviously, who coached them, and Kelly's good, Eunice, Redknapp. Listen, they've all been brilliant. Everyone who's been on it, Carl was on it as well, Robinson. So it's good to get a different insight of different people and what people are thinking and opinions, and Carragher with his quiz masters and all stuff. I haven't got involved in any of that just yet, but it's been great. And again, look, it's something for the Sky viewers to see, because they're missing the football, but on the other hand, you get a little bit of relaxed banter with everyone on it. So it's been great, mate. Honestly, it has. It's been a blessing in disguise, let me tell you. Should really say that. Should I be bigging them two up?
I'm sure you'll put them down when you get off here anyway. But you mentioned, we talked about the Liverpool fan from Anfield. You were in Madrid watching them in the Champions League final. How good an experience was that as a fan?
Yeah, it was special. I get like tingles, years on your neck, stand up with it. Listen, I've been a big Liverpool fan. There's been a few pictures going round on social media of the cock pen, 35p to get in. Well, I was a baby when that was really happening, and the older I got it, I think it went up to about £1, and I was in there, I was queuing up, and it's a massive Liverpool van, but I took my little lad I went to the 2005 Champions League final. I was lucky enough to be there when we won it, and I was lucky enough to spend the night in the players' hotel in the after party, which was even special. And I got the pictures out a few years ago to show my little lad. And then I took him to Kiev, Madrid. We lost, obviously. That was a bit of a downer for us. And then obviously when we got to Madrid, I went, right, we're going. So finally got the tickets, but then we couldn't get there, Scott, obviously, because the flights went through the roof and people were driving. I can't drive. So camper vans were out to sale, and then I managed to get a camper van from Stoke-on-Trent, Stafford. So me, my two mates in there, two lads, same age as me lad Alfie, we were on a journey. Then we were off, we were there, we through France, through Spain, Bilbao. Do you know what, mate? It was special, and for them to win it. For Liverpool anyway to win it, for me, second time, and for my lad to see it was special, mate. It was good.
Did you film any of that journey? That would be like a documentary you can stick on Sky One, I reckon.
Yeah, but you know what? The lads from Sky, I'd done a documentary for Sky while I was there in the camper van and showed them round it, and that was good. But yeah, listen, I took loads of videos, and it was some of the stuff and the scenes and that in the square. It was special. We look back now. I had my lads' little GoPro. So obviously you take your picture on your cameras and the GoPro, and we forgot we had it. Well, we forgot we had it with the SIM card. So I put it into the MacBook, and we get it on every now and then, and we see the songs and the videos and everyone. Oh, listen, it is good. I'm going to try and get a montage of it, get it all done. I'm not quite good with the computers in terms of that, but get a montage of it. But Sky actually done a piece with us. They followed us. I was videoing it, and all the kids had it was Alexander Arnold, Van Dijk, and who else was it? The shit, and it was Robinson. So we done a piece where I was like, "Don't tell Tottenham, but I've got 3 players in the back of the camper van." It was excellent for the boys. It was really good.
No one had Lowe on the back then.
Oh no, because I'd stopped by then, hadn't I? I'd have a Berry kit or something like that. But no, they never had a Lowe one in there, mate. Unfortunately.
Well, look, just a bit on your playing career as well, because we know you're very good friends with Stevie G, but you were signed by Ian Rush at Chester, is that right?
Yeah, well, first I was signed by Kevin Ratcliffe first at Shrewsbury. So my first contract was I was batting around the lower leagues and Sunday League and Saturday League, and I played for Bearscough and Southport and scored a lot of goals for Bearscough. And I had a choice, and there was a guy called Sid Benson, who was an old scout. God bless him, he passed away now, but he was top fella. And he was desperate to get me into Everton. Me being a Liverpool fan, I was like, oh. I'd already been at Liverpool, and first time I broke my ankle, second time I went back, I just didn't get a feel for it. I went enjoying it, so I went back, and then I got the opportunity to go and play for Everton. Howard Kendall and Colin Harvey. Howard was the manager, Colin was the first team coach or assistant manager.
How was that walking in as a massive Liverpool fan?
It was surreal, mate. Honestly, I was like, oh, I'm going into Belfield here, and then I had to put the Everton kit on. I was like, oh, I was looking. But you know what, mate? Even though I'm a big Liverpool fan, I've got a lot of respect for Everton, for what they did for me. And a lot of people who worked there, a lot of friends who worked there as coaches and people who were there. And anyway, long story short, Colin Harvey pulled and said, look, son, you're going to be too old, because they used to have an A and a B team then, different age groups. But you're going to be a bit too old for us, but we're going to recommend you to Kevin Ratcliffe at Shrewsbury. I was like, oh, okay. I'm thinking, where's Shrewsbury? I didn't know where Shrewsbury was first off, obviously. And then I looked at it, I thought, okay, yeah, brilliant. He said, just want to see if you're a good lad and, you're fit. And so I went up there. I was there 4 to 5 days. Kevin Ratcliffe offered me a 12-month contract. And then that was the time when I was friends with Stevie. And one of his best mates, Ian Dunbarton, was the goalkeeper there then. So he took me under his wing. He lived up there with his missus at the time and the baby, and he used to stay with him for a bit. And then obviously I was at Shrewsbury for 5 years. And then I got a phone call actually off Chester. And to go to Mark Hazelwood. Anyway, it was Ian Rush.
Hazelwood, yeah.
Hazelwood, yeah.
Ex-Chelsea.
He went, come on, son, I'm coming to say Welsh, isn't he? Welsh.
Yes.
So he went, Gaffer wants to sign you. I was like, oh, Ian Rush, yeah. And he was one of my idols, and then obviously I went in. Always remember, right, Scotty, he had a ring with IR on for his initials, and he was forever turning it when he was doing his team talks. And he said to me once, I weren't great. Didn't have a good start. And anyway, long story short, he pulled me over. There was a bit of time in play, and he pulled me over and went, yeah, and he gave me a right rollicking. And he went, you don't start performing, I'm getting you off. Because I think the chairman at the time, Stephen Vaughan, he was like, well known around the area. He was part of me going there as well. He wanted a few scousers there. He went, if you don't start performing, you're coming off next thing. But in the next 10 minutes, I scored 2. And I was like, get in. You're not going to say that to me ever again. And you know what, he was good. In all honesty, I don't think management was for Rushy, to be honest with you, because he went on to different things. But just to play under someone like him was special.
Yeah, he wasn't obviously a world-class manager, but he was a world-class player and striker. Did you pick anything up of him as a striker?
Um, no, well, I picked stuff up on I used to watch him obviously a lot. You know, when I was watching Liverpool, I was forever in, you know, watching the goal scorers, Fowler, Dalglish, all of them. But I just used to look at his movement. You know, his goals were always in the 6-yard box. He never scored any worldy goals. He was always, you know, in the right place at the right time. Him and even John Aldridge at the time. And when Fowler was a bit different, he could create his own. So I was just in awe, really, at the first time of working for him. I was in awe. I see him rushing. You know, I'm a big Liverpool fan and whatnot. I didn't see him for a few years afterwards because I don't think he barely remembered me. But listen, he was good, mate. While I was there, he was fine.
I think I have said this to you before. I was born in the Wirral, and we moved down when I was 3. My dad's still an absolutely massive Liverpool fan. Yeah. Brother's a Liverpool fan. I was a Liverpool fan growing up, but when I signed for Charlton, I just kind of stopped supporting them. I don't know why. It wasn't intentional, but just look back now, and it's all about the teams that I played for. They're the teams that I support. But I know what you mean. I had King Kenny all over the wall. Ian Rush, absolute legend. So it must have been incredible to work under him, even if he didn't quite happen for him. I had Kenny when he was at Newcastle and I left Chelsea ringing me up and saying, "Would you come to Newcastle?"
Yeah.
To go to. This is just a move I'm not quite sure I can turn down, both from a personal and professional experience. But you were my hero. You're on my wall. I started waffling on about, you know, he was such a great player and that. But incredible speaking to him. Must have been quite similar as well, even though it didn't quite work. Just speaking to Ian Rush and just listening to some of his stories.
Yeah, it was. It was again. I was in awe of him. You know, and the next thing you know, Mark Wright was the manager as well. He was a Liverpool player, and I was with him. And you know, I'm like thinking, I've come from grassroots football to working under Kevin Ratcliffe, who was a legend for Everton and Wales. Then to Ian Rush, who was the good mates, and Wales and Liverpool and Juventus and all. And I was thinking. And then that's when I think that's when you realise you're eventually going to come up against and come and see these type of people managing, coming against them, pitting your wits against them. You know, like managers now, I pit my wits against. I'm like, he's done this, he's done that. You know, where's me, a young up-and-coming manager who's trying to have a career in management. And then but again, football's the same, mate. And then when you're in order, people like Ian Rush and Kenny Dalglish and all them, it is surreal. But look, I think it's hard work and determination and graft that gets you where you want to get to, because, listen, there's every chance I could have just knocked it on the head at a younger age and I wouldn't have been nowhere. I'd have probably been on a local building site or whatever, no disrespect to that. But I wanted to be something. I wanted to be a footballer. I wanted to work under good managers, you know, visions of working under the best. And now I've got visions of listening to the best and talking about the best. You know, I'm on a seminar with Brendan Rodgers today. You know, they're the type of things you want to listen and learn to. I've spent a bit of time with Klopp and Benitez and, you know, people like that. And look, to learn, you're going to be in the mix with these type of people, but you've sort of got to let their fame just, you know, you're just as important as some of them in a way, because you're still doing the same thing. You're still managing, all right, you're not managing the best in the world, but you're still managing, you're still in that category. So, yeah, it's interesting, mate, and I enjoy it. I enjoy mixing with these type of people and listening to these people. And I've enjoyed working under big names, not so good managers, but big names, you know. Honestly, Scott, I was saying to Melissa when I rang, touch wood, I've never really had any issues in terms of the mind or mental health. Now, listen, wherever you go in life, you might pick up one or two things, because I've always thought, you know what, I get up out of bed in the morning, I'm breathing, I can have breakfast, I can go to work, I can walk, I can talk, I can see, you know, I count myself lucky, because, you know, but you see other people, and I've been fortunate in my family, you've seen people pass away through illnesses and whatnot, and I think, well, you know what, I'm living a good life, I'm doing a good job, and he was a bit like, what's the word I'm looking for? He was looking at me and saying, really, you can sleep, Ryan? I was like, well, yeah, why not? Even when I had all this backlash behind me and had the chairman text me, this is not good enough, that's not good enough, I go, okay. And I had that little, but again...
Have you always been like that as a person? Because that, especially not to an experienced manager, that must be really tough. To a rookie manager, yeah. I'm not surprised the guy was looking at you saying, are you sure? Are you really sleeping? Because that's not normal, is it, in a way?
No, not what I find out now. But listen, don't get me wrong. When we lose, I like to sleep it off. when we win, I'm on a crest wave, but I need to be grounded. So I think it's the people I have around me, and sort of like Neil Jewsnip now, my director of football. I had Rob Kelly early on, he was brilliant with me. The people I speak to out of football and managers who are in management now. And I think where I got it from was, as a footballer, where I'd come from, grassroots football, to graft to be a professional football for 20 years. And I was brought up on a council estate in Liverpool, Scott, you know, and look, there's a lot of people that have been brought up, they're the hardest part of life, you know. You're going out on your bike, and you've got to make sure you come home on your bike, you've got to stick up for yourself, and, you know, no one can take your ball. Listen, there was loads of factors when I was growing up that I had to be, resilient. Like, no, you're not doing that. So I think that done me in good stead. But I always remember someone saying to me, do it your way and no one else's way. Because it's easy, isn't it, that, like, you know, chairmans or CEOs or director of footballs get involved and do this, do that, and it doesn't work, and they don't want to take the brunt of it. So I always felt I wanted to do it my way. And I think also as well, I think the respect of me with the players and current players and players I've played with, like at Bury that year, I think I'd played with 80% of the players. So they knew what I was
But that
about.
can be hard for you. That can be hard suddenly, from teammates to, as you say, dropping someone or even releasing someone, as you've done.
It was, mate. And as I said, going back to one of my friends who had released, you know, we still don't speak to this day, but it was a business decision. It weren't a mate decision. I couldn't give someone 50, 60, 70,000 pounds a year just to be my mate and be around. You know, I brought one of my best mates in as a coach, and, you know, I had to make sure it was right for the football club and myself. So it was tough, but I think the way I dealt with it, and as a player, I always wanted honesty. And I remember Gary Megson saying to me once, I went playing, I went knocked on his door, and he went, "What do you want?" So I went, "I just want a word." And he went, "Come in, what's up?" And I went, "I want to know when I'm going to play or I'm playing." He went, "Right, look, you're not playing this week, but you're going to play next week, because I think we were playing Lincoln or someone." And he went, "And you'll get round there centre half, when you're getting in behind, flick-ons off one of the centre forwards." I went, "All right, fine." I said, "So I'm playing next week, even if we win tomorrow." He went, "Yeah, don't worry." Good enough to his word. I played the following week and we won the next day. So I thought, fair play. And he told me, and then I wanted to be like that. So when I was taking people out the team, listen, we won quite a lot of games. I didn't have to change the team really. I was quite lucky that, you know, players were like, "Well, I've got to wait until I get back in." But when I did, I said that it weren't for me to do. I weren't doing it for me. I was doing it for the best interest of the team. And I think when you've got good lads, which we've always had, even this year, they understand it. Selfishly, some players are like, "Well, I'm not bothered, I want to play. Well, all right, if that's the case, and if you're selfish, then you need to move on somewhere else. But I've been lucky enough to have that group of players that I've understood, you know.
Yeah, it's all about honesty, isn't it? When I got dropped, I've been dropped by managers who didn't say anything. I got dropped by managers who pulled me in and explained why. I didn't like the decision of either of them, but I respected the man who told me why, and I didn't respect the man who didn't. But it's a difficult thing. I've never been a manager. You've got so many egos nowadays, and even further down the divisions there are as well. But let's talk about Mind as well, and the fact you are an ambassador for Mind. I mean, it's an incredible mindset you do have, and I'm sure a lot of people would love to have that type of mindset. What advice would you give to people who are struggling, especially in moments like these where they can't get out all the time and they can't see the people they want to? I mean, what advice would you give in terms of speaking to the people?
Yeah.
I don't mind have a campaign of have your mates back, making sure they're okay.
Yeah, I think what you just said there, have your mates back. You know, I love it when I get off the phone to someone who I haven't spoke to for a while, and we're talking about old times or the future or whatever may be, and it gives you that little bit of a life, like, "Oh, that was great. I didn't know about this." Then you can go and speak to your missus or your kids. "His lad's done this, his lad's done that." Or you speak to your missus and go, "I never guess what they've done." Like, I spoke to one of my friends who there and spoke to him for a while, and we were just looking at some houses for the near future. And he went, "Oh, I've been looking there, the same place." And then we're talking, me and the missus. So what I would advise is never be mute about anything. Always pick up the phone. And, you know, I've had to do it with a lot of my staff the last few weeks. And, you know, one of my coaching staff rang me and I said, "Oh, are you?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I've been a bit flat today." I said, "Why? Tell me why." So he tells me. I went, "All right." I said, "His missus looks after the care home." I said, "Okay, your missus looks after the care home. What's her objectives?" "Do you mean?" "So to make sure that the care home's right, isn't it? Make sure that the people in there are looked after and the stuff what's going." He went, "Yeah." I went, "Look, don't worry about your job. Your job's safe. You're with me. You want a part of my team." And he went from there to there. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, Gaffer, listen, I didn't ring for that, but okay, yeah, now I understand." And I think it's just simple stuff. What you say to them, I've rang around all my staff all the time, and we have a Zoom call every Wednesday night where think I can say this, with a bottle of beer just to keep them entertained. And, you know, we have a laugh and a joke, and we have some backgrounds behind us. And it was my assistant's birthday the other day, Stephen Schumacher's 30th of April. So we all set a Las Vegas
Brilliant
behind. We were all like sunglasses on. Listen, again, and we're all in the same boat. I'm not going to lie, I've had some down days where I'm like, oh, any news, any clarity, and then I've gone outside and played with the little fella in the garden, or we've gone for a walk, and next thing you're up and bubbly. So what I would say is, always be there, always pick up the phone to someone, whether it's a mate from 10 years ago or 5 years ago, because you'll find, funny enough, you'll find a funny story out of it, won't you? So if I haven't spoke to someone for 6 months, I'll ring them up and I'll say, how are you? What are you up to? And he'll tell you something new. He might say, my missus is pregnant. He might say, we've just had a baby. He might say, we've just been engaged. Whatever it is. And it brightens you up. So, again, it's that saying, isn't it? It's all right to not be all right. Is it all right to be okay? All right to speak. There's loads of things in it what you can say. It's all right not to be all right, is it? Or it's okay to not be okay. One of them. But again, always pick up the phone. There's plenty of people out there who will always listen to you.
It's impossible to be happy 100% of the time, and just talking, whether it's about your mental health issues or whether it's just about football or whether it's about life, you know, it's very important to do. I'm going to be speaking to Carl Robinson shortly. I did ask him for a story on you. He said about the time that he put you on the bench, but he said if you come off the bench and score, come and jump on him. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. Well, I've got another story on him as well, but anyway, we'll talk about that one. So he dropped me. Carl expected a lot from me, but I had never played one up front on my own, Scott, and I found it tough, and I wanted to get involved. He went, look, Lowe, just stay out the way and we'll get the ball to you anyway. That season, I think I ended up going and scoring 16 goals, leading goal scorer, me and Dean Bowditch, so it was quite a successful season. But that time he's talking about, he must have put on a bit of timber. I scored. I think I'd been on the pitch 5 minutes, I scored, and it was, again, proving a point. You know, he left me out the team, and I'd expected it, and I weren't doing great, but I thought, you know what, so anyway, comes on, scores, runs right out, and I jumped on him like this, and as he's grabbed me, he's had to obviously squat down, and you're big, right the way up there. But no, it was brilliant. There was a time when we played Samir away, and we played the ball over to Angelo Ballant, and he headed it inside. And as a striker, I tried to get over centre half goal, we got bang, headed the ball. So this 18-yard box now, they're attacking third, and we're 80 yards away from goal. Our goal ball goes down the left, comes into midfield, down the left, gets across and nearly scores. He blames me. I went, Carl. Well, I called him. I said, Gaffer. He went, right, I want to get you in tomorrow and have a look at some Monday morning. I got dragged into the cinema room. He went, so you tell me. And I said, what do you want me to do with that? He went, they nearly scored from it. I said, blame the right winger and the right back then and the midfielder for not. And he went, no, I'm not sacking us goal. But again, listen, I've got utmost respect for Carl. We had some ups and downs, and he dragged us in on some Sundays as well, which I weren't quite happy with. But no, he's proven great manager. I speak to him all the time. I get a lot of advice from him because he's been through a lot himself.
Yeah.
So no, he's different class.
Yeah, he is an ambassador for Mind, as are you. How do you feel about being?
Yeah, I was privileged when I got the phone call, and I was like, going back again before. Listen, I may experience, you know, hopefully I don't, but hopefully I'm there to help people. You know, I think I'm quite a confident lad that I can go and speak to people, and I'm there to lean on, and I get emotional sometimes. You know, I've just given young 3 lads pro contracts this morning on the Zoom, and I get emotional with them because the parents are there. So I am an emotional guy, but when it comes to me, I thought, okay, well, I've never experienced any sort of problems, mental health, or anything like that, but I want to be there to help, and I want to be there for someone to pick up the phone if they need to and speak to me, you know, because I feel that, you know, I am, and people will ring me for advice, whether it's lads I know from around the area, their kids have been released from football clubs. I've done quite a bit of that down here. I went and talked for a community college football team who would sign a breakthrough, you know, and I thought, to be an ambassador for Mind is something I'd like to get involved with, because although I haven't been through many mental health issues and I've never really had them, I want to be there to help someone who has, and I think it was a privilege when I was asked, so I'm really pleased.
How important do you feel mental health awareness is in football in general, but also amongst football fans? Because, you know, certainly in the football all male environment, it used to be seen as a weakness. Now I think it's seen very much as a strength. But still, you know, in terms of males, perhaps more than females, there's still that reluctance, shall we say, to talk about your feelings?
So I think, again, Scott, I think with it, depends where you've come from in your background. If you're a vocal like me and you, we can talk all day, you know, but if you're not and you're quite quiet, it's getting it out to people. So, but I think generally in football, I think the mind stuff now is got to be there for them. And I feel now they have like sports psychologists, and they come in and they put stuff. I think that's a bit different, because I've seen a sports psychologist once when I was at Chester, when we were on the verge of getting relegated, but I needed to keep my tempo, my goal scoring up to get a move. And one when I was at MK Dons and I was struggling for a bit of form. But that was a bit different. That was for form, not for anything over my head. So, you know, my mind. I think the mind stuff is certainly there. I think in every football, someone's always got an issue. Now, that issue might be being away from your family. So I was away from my family for 7 months. Yeah, we got the FaceTime, whatever else. My sister manager's living down there with his missus. So I used to have a plan where I'd go and we'd go and watch a match every Wednesday. We'd have some food and we'd have a couple of drinks just to clear your mind, because Wednesday's your day off and, you know, you've got too much on. You can't travel 300 miles home. But I think it's important that, you know, the players now start respecting it and start using it. Because as I've just said to you, we could pick up the phone. We're talking about Carl, the old days there when I was at MK Dons. That's given me enough. Remember that? And then I start jogging my memory of MK Dons. So if someone's speaking to someone about anything, it could bring up a whole new picture in their mind to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to think of that today. I'm going to think of that. So I think it's vitally important that players start speaking out and come and look, no one needs to know. I think the mind stuff's a bit different. When you say you're going to see a sports psychologist, I'm going, what for? Well, yeah, I agree. What for depends what you want to go for. If it's a team and collective thing, some people, we've had loads in with managers and people go, yeah, and come and see me afterwards, and they go or they don't, and they don't take it up. But I think the mind stuff certainly there to help.
Yeah. How important do you feel the partnership is with the EFL and Mind as well?
Yeah, listen, it's great. I think the partnership, obviously, as Melissa and Sally were saying, it's getting bigger and stronger and getting better. You know, the badges we all wear and the stuff on the back of the shirts and the numbers. The partnership, I think, worked well because, you know, you've got 72 or 71 clubs at the moment in the EFL that can picture it all over the place. Probably a little bit more advertisement would be good in terms of, you know, I know they do a lot of celebrations and the EFL do a lot of updates on the social media and all that. Well, maybe I'm doing a job for me, and maybe it could be a mind celebration with the player. Yeah, listen, there's loads of things, but I think it's very important. I think, and the longer they can do it and the more they can stick at it, the better it'll be for everyone involved.
So just finally then, Ryan, really enjoyed the chat, by the way. And again, you know, I feel like we could go on, but I've taken up a lot of your time. To conclude, you know, what would your advice be to people who are struggling in this, whether it be perhaps even more so, the most important thing is just speaking to people, but even like physical activities, you know, listening to music or anything it could be?
Yeah. Do you know what my advice would be to speak to people? Yeah, music's a good one. Go out for your walks to think. And I always think look at the bigger picture. So here and now is, yeah, we're all in a pandemic, which is not nice, and we're all in lockdown to an extent, and we're trying to get the country back up and running. We're all missing obviously football. A lot of people missing football, but you know you've got to think of the bigger picture. You know you're here for a reason, and you're here to help somewhere along the line. And I think positivity. I'm a very positive man, me. I always have been, and I always think, you know what, there's worse people off in life, and again with this pandemic going, there's a lot worse off people than all us. So I think for people out there who have been struggling these times, think of the bigger picture. You know, get yourself a walk, listen to a bit of music, reminisce. I like to reminisce quite a bit, me. You know, the old music, I mean, Mrs. like, what song's that you got on? What club was that you were in? I'm like, doesn't matter. I'm having a good time. I'm reminiscing. So again, music's a good one for me. It does turn me on to an extent. You know, like I'm not good at singing. I'm rubbish when I'm in the car, but I still sing along, and you know, you reminisce and bring back good times and what. But I always think of look at the bigger picture, and always be, you know, pick up the phone if needed and stay safe and do what you need to do to make yourself better.
Yeah, Mind's campaign of have your mates back pretty much sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? Ryan, really enjoyed this. Absolutely flown by. I think it's been about 45 minutes, which is longer than.
That's been my pleasure, mate. It's been good, as I say. You can talk all day, even stuff like this, though, Scott. You know, you're speaking and we're talking about other stuff. that stuff hasn't been in my mind, what we just spoke about. And the next thing it comes on, and you have a little reminisce, and you talk about it, and then I might pick up the phone to Carl later and go, here, you give me a bit of stick to Scotty.
Yeah.
It just opens up all different pitches. But again, mate, it's been great, and it's been a pleasure.
No, thanks very much for your time. Remember, if you need any further information or advice, just visit mind.org.uk.